So check it out.
What? Just like that?
Here's some carrots. So there's all those fennel branches, remember?
Hello there, fennel branches.
Get it nice, baste it. And those are all the bits. We're gonna add them back. It's gonna make the sauce.
That's like the liver and the guts and
the
stuff.
The liver, the kidney and the heart, okay? And we're gonna get that nice, it's gonna make it nice and rich. And we've got our nice hot carrots, but actually I wanna put the carrots in. It's gonna almost be like a nice little stew.
Rabbit stew, which is probably a very traditional Barbary Coast sort of meal.
Exactly.
You could catch them in the street.
I wouldn't be surprised if
only the huge ones, because if not, the rats would have got them.
I bet you it was a rat-infested town back then.
Oh, fuck. I read this thing last night about these two, you heard of Emperor Norton?
Mm-hmm.
Like a really famous guy who was nuts and dressed like an emperor?
Yeah.
He had two dogs named Bummer and Lazarus, who weren't actually his dogs. They were just kind of like city dogs. But they were renowned throughout the city as like the two greatest rat hunters the city had ever known, like amongst barkeepers and restaurants and whatever. And but Emperor Norton kind of like rolled with them. They weren't his dogs really, but they kicked it with him a lot. And,
how weird.
And this thing I read said that like the rat problem was so huge at one point that like these dogs were really almost like heroes. Like when people who own restaurants saw them, they would like run out with food for the dogs, and like Emperor Norton rolled around with them like they weren't his pets, they were his homies, because they got so much props for killing so many rats.
That he also got the benefits too.
Yeah, and I saw like a comic strip that had run in the paper when one of them passed away. I think Bummer died. And like the local paper ran like an homage to this fucking rat hunting dog that was like, the dog was laying on like a funeral pile thing, and there was like a whole bunch of rats all like leaning up on his casket, like looking up at him. So yeah, if that tells you anything, I think
taste?
That time period, pretty rat heavy. Wow, you can really taste the bits that you added back in. It's like super rich.
It helps it. It gives it some body, you know? And you gotta, I mean, those guys were poor as hell. I mean, if they got their gold, they used it to buy other equipment to keep going, right?
Yeah.
So they used every little ounce of protein to keep themselves going.
That's tasty.
Look at that. It's gonna fall right off the bone.
Badass. Now, how long was that in there for?
About 2.5 hours.
Well, and it, you know, a rabbit wouldn't be complete without some very cartoon-looking carrots. Look at those
exactly,
things.
huh?
You picked those guys on purpose, I think.
Well, you know, you always take that animal back to its feed, you know? Beautiful. Look at that. Almost there. It's like peasant food. This is my favorite way to eat.
Just the basics.
Just the basics.
Look at that. It splits right off the bone.
Do you need a knife?
Nope, apparently not. Really good.
I'm blown away. The piece is beautiful.
Well,
thank you.
I hope it keeps those dudes in line. I have a feeling I'll come in here to eat some night and you'll introduce me to the other cooks and they're going to look at me and be like, you're a prick. Because that was my job. I worked as like general kitchen guy for this Italian restaurant in my hometown. And one summer I broke my wrist skating, so I couldn't bust tables anymore, and then I became like full-on kitchen guy. And my job entailed garlic prep, dude, which took hours.
I'm sure.
And
peeling and slicing, right?
And knife cleaning guy, which when you got a cast on, is the fucking worst job ever. So the cast already smells like garlic, you know, because I spent half my shift fucking prepping mountains of garlic. So I have this really extra stinky cast.
Oh, man.
And then it's damp, because no matter how careful you are when you're washing dishes with a cast, the shit's getting wet.
Oh, gross.
I was the smelliest guy that summer. I'm gonna try a piece of this little bread, the soaker upper.
To me, that's the best part, because then you can just come right back to it in the end. It's always there. It's like a giant.
Uncharted.
It just sucks everything up.
The rabbit
It's
is
got a
great,
nice
the carrots
char.
are delicious. That piece of bread is magical.